Good afternoon and welcome to NYCryptoTalk. Today's topic of discussion is going to be on an ICO that I have just recently participated in. One of the few that I was able to participate in. Being in the US is not easy for most people when it comes to ICOs, but this one luckily was available. So the ICO that I'm going to be reviewing, and I have touched base on this briefly in a NEO video last month, is Thor. So what is Thor? Thor is a blockchain-powered gig economy solution. What they're looking to do is build a blockchain based on the NEO platform to empower gig workers to be able to get paid and to have benefits and to be more free and flexible and be able to have multiple gigs at the same time and manage it all in one platform, and also allowing the gig economy employers to have better access to their employees, less transactions, cheaper, more secure, and to be able to keep these employees longer, because the fall-off rate for people in gig economy is very high. So key factors for the Thor blockchain is helping contractors earn more faster and more securely. So one of the key points is instant pay. So Thor payments process immediately after a job is completed. The transfer of the Thor coins go to the Thor wallet that they're building. The job network, employers plus candidates. Basically, if you're on the Thor network, you can apply to multiple gigs at the same time. You don't need to do multiple applications. There will be all the employers on one place. The same thing for employers. They can look for candidates all in one place, which is great. And benefits, which is one of the biggest issues with the gig economy currently. And this is where Thor is trying to kind of make the step up and being able to build a platform where gig workers can get a 401k savings plan or insurance, health insurance, easily acquire it through their partner network with the Thor token for much better rates than individuals would get. So they're trying to make it much easier, and being able to build multiple gigs into that one Thor platform makes you have more Thor tokens, making the insurance easier to maintain. Security, obviously everything here on the Thor platform is SHA 256 base, SHA 256. So basically the contractor submits their ID, they validate it, they encrypt the identity, and now the contractor manages the privacy. So all this information is secure. The payments can be made very easily through the wallet, and they also plan on having a Visa card as well. I'm not sure if the Visa part, because I know there was some talks about Visa in the previous discussions about Visa not wanting to be involved with crypto. That was more in Europe, but obviously there is still that ability in there. And you can also, when we get into the white paper, decide how much you want to take into fiat when you get paid, or how much you want to keep in your Thor tokens. So you can either do your 401k and earn money, or you can transfer directly out to fiat. Their network, as I mentioned before, is one-click apply. So basically you can have multiple gigs, and you can have different steps for those gigs. Obviously, applying, in process, or you're working it. So all these different gigs. So Bannerman is one of the advisors, so I'm assuming Bannerman will probably be one of the first people on the platform. TaskRabbit and Uber are two of the largest gig economies out there nowadays, handy as well. But TaskRabbit and Uber are the people that they would try to reach out to, as well as Lyft. I don't think they have any partnerships with them at the time, but they do plan on starting small and being able to show proof of work, and then most likely they'll be able to get a lot of bigger companies. Handy is a model that I will show you. Walmart and IKEA have now talked about using these gig economy companies to utilize for building their appliances, for their furniture, for television. So a lot of companies, big companies out there, IKEA, Walmart, are trying to team up with the gig economy because they know it's one less thing they need to do to pay someone health insurance. So gig economy is very big, and I will go into the statistics of it. They have had some statistics on the quantity of people in the gig economy right now. The team, David Chin and Matt Moravec, these are the two guys you'll see most commonly on YouTube reviews. They do have a lot of experience in both the gig economy, in the tech industry. They do have a great team, very, very active team as well. I know from the Telegram group during the ICO, which is ongoing right now. I believe it ends in April, in about 2 weeks, April 10th. A lot of these guys are in the Telegram group helping out, answering questions. I know David has done multiple interviews on YouTube. I would love to get an interview with him as well. Advisors, they do have Bannerman Security, which is a gig job for security. They have a former physician-in-chief at Kaiser Permanente, which is a ginormous company. And a VP and senior counsel at Umpqua Bank, which I'm not familiar with, but I know this guy, Ben, is available. I know he is on more from the legal standpoint for the company, and he's also available on the Telegram group. So high-level roadmap, I'll go into the white paper. I'm going to go into a couple articles and try to make this as quick as possible. So Thor was founded in 2017. They do have an alpha right now for the mobile and desktop clients, currently being tested on-site at their team. Q1 is their token sale for both pre-sale and for the public sale, which is ongoing. Q2, which is awesome, first customer testing, so very close. And then Q3, Thor in production. So this is a very short time frame, which I do like to see in a roadmap. Obviously, they do have a lot of things in alpha. They do have clients on board. They are working on things. So Q3 is very reasonable, especially with what they have, the team that they have. So it is very realistic. And I like seeing things being done in 2018, which means it will definitely be a smooth sailing project. We're not going to have to wait until 2019. Q4, 401k debit card and the one-click apply. So a lot of their all their major tasks are being planned for 2018, which is fantastic. To go into their Thor token sale, just to give you high level of what their token sale is, they did have a pre-sale, and I think it was 27 million for their pre-sale. For their public sale, there's 23 million being sold. The first 10 million of this 23, it gets 25% bonus. They're only close to 2 million with about 2.5 weeks left to go. So there's plenty of time to get into this sale. It is open for almost all residents, I believe. They have a very active Twitter page. Definitely check it out. They did peg their NEO at $120. So NEO is hovering around $70-something, I think, right now. It did dip down to 50-something the other day, I think on Sunday. So it is a absolute steal what they pegged their NEO at, plus the 25% bonus. So the 25% bonus is one NEO is $150. That's a fantastic deal. Especially with the way the market is going. Obviously, it's a bad time for ICOs, but good time for investors. So here's their exchange rate. As I mentioned, you get your bonus, the 25% bonus. So here's some statistics on the gig economy just before we get into things, just to give you kind of a good idea of how many people currently are in gig jobs as opposed to full-time jobs, part-time jobs. So 38% of millennials aged 21 to 37 are doing gig jobs. 27% of Generation Xers are from age 38 to 52. And 35% of baby boomers from 53 to 72, which is absolutely outstanding. It also includes mature, so 35% of anyone over 53. So absolutely fantastic. I can't believe 35% of baby boomers are in gig jobs. I guess it's just easier, or it's just harder to find jobs nowadays. It could be both ways. Gig jobs are easier, less stress, but it also means that there's no benefits. So obviously we're in a really hard economy right now. So, as I mentioned before, Walmart is teaming up with Handy to help set up furniture for you. So this is gig economy is now being utilized by one of the biggest companies in the country, Walmart. So that's a huge thing. So Thor wallets. Thor is currently supported on 3 different wallets. Neon, which is the Neo wallet by the City of Zion. O3. And Morpheus, just for you guys to know, once you do get your Thor tokens, you can transfer them immediately to these different wallets. There is a couple of interviews out there. So this was just a kind of a quote that the CEO said is, one of the most important pieces is that we provide access to healthcare. It's a national issue, but it's more prevalent and more urgent in the gig economy. So healthcare is a huge issue in the US. They're basically saying for the gig economy, it's even more urgent. So this is something they're trying to get through. And then here, this is just a statement basically from CNN Money. Should gig economy workers such as Uber drivers, TaskRabbits be entitled to the same rights and benefits as regular employees? Currently, they aren't. This is why we are here. So basically, all these workers that are currently making money, trying to get by, they don't have the same benefits. So Thor, going into their white paper, and I'll hit on some high-level stuff, insufficient security and the quality of life of gig workers. There's excessive turnover for on-demand companies. But what the Thor solution is aiming to do is easy access to benefits, financial security, instant payments with the gig network. More statistics, and basically they're saying by 2020, gig workers could account to up to 43% of the U.S. economy, amounting to this is the U.S. This is not outside the U.S., so that could even be more outside the U.S. And out of those gig workers currently, 72% of the workers believe they should be receiving benefits. So by utilizing the blockchain and tokenomics, Thor's platform will allow us to offer gig workers the benefits traditionally reserved for full-time and unionized employees. So, and it will act as a workflow management hub. Basically, as I mentioned before, one-stop shop to get to other companies so they can apply for multiple gigs if they want. Mornings for Uber, nighttime on Lyft. Whatever you feel is necessary, you can figure it out and manage it through the Thor platform. And as I mentioned, they will also allow you to exchange the tokens into fiat in near real time. So I'll go into this a little later. They do mention GDAX, which I haven't heard the partnership or GDAX working. It might be behind the scenes, but they do want to work with GDAX, which is a US-based company, to be able to work on transitioning the Thor token directly into fiat, so that they can basically pay their workers. So basically what they're trying to solve is this is a pragmatic integration of the crypto market with traditional economy will allow us to bring blockchain currencies to a much wider audience as today. Most likely they'll move directly to a decentralized exchange such as Nex once it's feasible and be just another player competing on the Thor marketplace. So 40% of American workers are gig workers. Obviously, in the 2008 recession resulted in the loss of 8.7 million jobs, 6.1% of all payroll employment during this period. The gig economy has exploded onto the scene. Due to the force of lack of jobs, lack of things, people basically took whatever jobs were available to them. So here is where happens with gig workers. So there's more to a full-time employee's income than just their take-home pay. Health benefits for them, their family, retirement benefits, sick leave, parental leave, all up to them more than dollars and cents. They give people peace of mind and security as they live the day-to-day. They deserve more benefits. Obviously, this will cause turnover, and people will lose interest in staying in the jobs that they are in. So the turnover, as I mentioned, that 11% of new drivers for Uber will stop driving within a month, and about half are gone within a year. So most of these people are going into the gig economy as transitions, hoping that there'll be the career stops, evidenced by the fact that more than 1/3 of freelancers say they are not in the economy by choice. So they're not in it because there's no benefits. They don't have the finances to provide these benefits, these companies. Thor Token will basically be providing these companies a number of new employee incentives to help them retain their workforce and hopefully gain more workforce. By being able to provide them group policy healthcare will be a major part of the gig economy. It'll be much cheaper than the equivalent plans offered to individuals, and it will not be independent of the gig worker having uninterrupted employment with any specific on-demand company. They would just need to be part of the Thor Token network. So if someone stops working Uber for a week or two, they're not going to lose coverage. So this is a huge factor of it. Obviously, I'm sure there's token incentives, token payments that need to be done to do things, but obviously that's why people break down you keeping some money in fiat, some in tokens. And what they want to do is partnering with Thor for the actual companies will allow on-demand companies to advertise access to cost-effective benefits without needing the lift on the financial burden of providing those benefits themselves, helping them attract contractors over the competitors that they have yet to sign up with Thor. While also instant payments, larger on-demand companies are able to offer their contractors a form of instant pay. Many companies in the space cannot, at least not until they have partnered with the Thor token. By implementing payments through Neo smart contracts, Thor token can enable near instantaneous payments for a service. That's the reason why they moved to the Neo platform with the 10,000 transactions per second. By directly debiting on-demand companies and then converting the US dollar into Thor tokens through a centralized exchange such as GDAX, as I mentioned, or a decentralized exchange such as Nex. This will allow on-demand companies to work more effective incentive structure for getting contractors to work at high demand hours, all while the companies receive paycheck processing for zero cost. That's a huge incentive for the company. So they have less administration fees than they probably have right now through their payment vendor. By partnering with Thor Token, smaller on-demand companies will be able to tout instant pay for their contractors without having to implement an instant pay system themselves, also without cost. And as I mentioned, what they want to be able to get in Thor tokens versus what they want to get in US dollars when they get paid, so they can keep that transaction. And all the information. So this is basically the platform, as I mentioned. The Thor's gig network will give gig workers a one-stop shop for managing their workflow. They'll have a desktop and a mobile client that can streamline the application process and help optimize their time management. They'll also have all the companies that are currently utilizing Thor token, so they can be kept informed about the opportunities they have to work, vice versa. So the way that they want to be able to work on contractors is B2B partnerships and B2C marketing. Each strategy, basically, they're saying is strengthening the other. So they do currently have partnerships, and they are working on current partnerships. And being in the Bay Area in San Francisco, there are many startups, many companies, many gig jobs out there, and they already have direct relationships with them. So they are going to be working on offering paycheck processing for zero cost, which alone should be enough to displace their current providers, in addition to allowing them to offer the contractors access to group policies, healthcare. In exchange, we ask that our partners encourage their contractors to receive paychecks via Thor token. So they want to basically move the adoption rate into the blockchain sphere. The ultimate goal is to be able to work with these smaller companies and then build up to the larger companies, as I mentioned, like Uber, Upwork, Lyft, and TaskRabbit. Best ways to doing it is making sure that not only their core value proposition, but by demonstrating that we have a set of their contractors already on our platform. So most likely there'll be overlap between Uber and the other ones mentioned above. So having that ability, will be able to leverage things like the 10,000 Uber drivers using the Thor token already and being able to provide them with healthcare. So the shared ecosystem for the tokens will allow leveraging their pooled purchasing power into the discounted goods and services. As the network grows, we expect the value of the token to increase as usage of the tokens drives demand, giving the scarcity of a finite pool of an available supply. This increase in value will allow Thor token to reinvest its growing market cap into subsidized products to offer the Thor marketplace, in turns incentivizing more gig workers to join it. So they'll lower the cost of certain things as the token rises. So they're not going to make things more expensive as Thor token gets more valuable. And they're going to be able to manage this volatility by maintaining a pool of reserve tokens as well, and directly offering a range of products to users, tethering the value of the token to non-crypto markets. So instead of it being worth one, as Thor is right now, 120, you can get 120 tokens for $1. It will then be 80 tokens for $1 because the price will be more. So our vision is to transfer the Thor token to a decentralized exchange, obviously, and then in the meantime, they will manage the exchange of Thor to fiat utility through their network. The token sale, I kind of mentioned, $40 million to the token sale. Thor will also create an additional 50 million tokens, which will use to finance the business as well as support it. So there'll be 100 million tokens in circulation. Initially, we plan to work with an exchange like GDAX, a US-based regulated first exchange, to facilitate the selling and buying of Thor tokens. So, to be determined. Good stuff. As well as working with the Thor Visa card with existing financial institutions that Thor will partner with. This is currently the first step of how it would look. With the next exchange, the Thor Bank, where they're going to store the value. They're going to have the debit card, the wallet where you can store the tokens, the nodes, the contracts, and then the contractors. And I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Discounted services I mentioned, car insurance, health insurance, home insurance. So they're looking at, and also Thor promotions. So they're going to look, like Chase has rewards programs, American Express has rewards programs. So all these things, they're trying to be able to offer better incentives for people. So why blockchain? So blockchain records and transfers data that is transparent, safe, and auditable. Because blockchain rests upon a distributed network, it is resistant to outages. People won't have issues with money not being able to be sent because there are multiple nodes, so things go out, things will be still available. Blockchain makes data and organizations that leverage this technology transparent, democratic, decentralized, efficient, and secure. So in the traditional economy, companies own and control, continued on the next page, all employee data, payment history, and reviews. They also work on the gateways for workers to receive benefits. This model creates friction for workers and make it challenging. So by having everything on the Thor network, everything is transparent. Your information is owned by you. You see it. You are able to see what you're covered for, what your employment history is, how many tokens you have, and this is how it currently works right now. No love. So you can maintain a single health insurance and retirement plan from gig to gig because the place in the Thor token network will remain consistent. Why NEO? Because of the transaction rate and without the transaction cost, or very, very, very low transaction cost through the gas network. And they compare Ethereum versus NEO and why they chose it. NEO is the best choice. I agree. I'm not biased. Building a bridge. So this is what's being built today. As I mentioned, the crypto transfer of cash funds, the different exchanges, which hopefully they'll look down the road, the wallet and how the wallets, both the mobile and the desktop client, will work. This is all through APIs. And the cash settlements will be done through Visa, and then the contracts for the different gig jobs will be working through the API, and the ideal state of Thor. So this is the full-fledged blockchain where everything is fully integrated and everything is basically autonomous, works, and there's no need for APIs. And I went into the team already, so I think I got everything. So, definitely check out Thor. Do your own research. As I mentioned, the token sale, I believe, goes until April 10th. I personally, being fully transparent, I have invested into it. I do think Thor is a good project. I think the gig economy is just an untapped market. I always look into real case functionality, as you guys know, things that will change the industry, and I think the gig economy is huge, and there is a need for the transparency of this. Health insurance is needed, benefits are needed, 401k, all these things I think are great benefits. Being built on the NEO platform just makes it 10 times better for me, especially if people on the NEO platform vetted this ICO and allowed it to go through. So let me know what you guys think. Thor token sale is live. Shoot me a comment. Please like, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again.